The darkness came without warning. The skies, once adorned with the familiar light of the sun and stars, were suddenly cloaked by an impenetrable blackness. It wasn't natural. Something, or someone, had blotted out Earth's light. Panic swept across cities like wildfire. People stumbled in the streets, disoriented and afraid. Power grids overloaded as every home, business, and government building tried to flood their spaces with artificial light. But no bulb or LED could pierce the alien darkness. The blackout was accompanied by a transmission, broadcast simultaneously across every device capable of receiving a signal. The voice was cold, emotionless, yet filled with the arrogance of a being that had never encountered failure. "Humans of Earth," it began. "We are the Umbral Collective. Light has been your crutch, your shield. You have built your world around it, dependent on its presence to survive. We have removed this weakness. Without it, you will wither and die. Surrender your planet to us, and we will grant you the mercy of servitude. Resist, and you will perish in the dark." General Elena Torres stood in the underground bunker of NORAD, her face illuminated by the faint glow of emergency screens. Around her, a team of military strategists, scientists, and diplomats worked feverishly to interpret the transmission. The room was tense, a cocktail of fear and determination. "Any progress on the source of this blackout?" Torres asked, her voice sharp as steel. Dr. Raj Patel, an astrophysicist, pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose. "It's not natural, ma'am. The phenomenon appears to be caused by a massive array of satellites deployed around our planet. They're emitting a field that absorbs and disperses light." Torres frowned. "Can we destroy them?" Raj shook his head. "They're heavily shielded. Conventional weapons won't penetrate. And their position in orbit makes them hard to reach quickly." "Then we adapt," Torres said firmly. She turned to her team. "Humanity doesn't lie down and die. Let's show these aliens what happens when you underestimate us." In the alien mothership, hovering just beyond Earth's orbit, Admiral Kale of the Umbral Collective observed the planet with satisfaction. The humans were panicking, their communication networks a chaotic mess of despair. To the Umbral, a species evolved in perpetual darkness, light was an unnecessary luxury. Their own world thrived without a sun, their technology and biology adapted to the absence of illumination. "Admiral," an officer reported, his voice a low rumble. "The humans are beginning to consolidate their efforts. Their power systems are still active, though ineffective against the dark." Kale chuckled, a sound that resonated like grinding stone. "Let them try. They are creatures of light. Their desperation is futile." In a remote corner of Montana, a small group of survivors gathered in a makeshift shelter. Among them was Ethan Cole, a former survivalist and inventor, who had spent his life preparing for catastrophes most considered absurd. "This isn't like any blackout we've faced before," said Mia, a young woman clutching a flashlight that barely lit the space around her. Ethan nodded. "No, it's not. But light isn't the only way to see. Follow me." He led the group into a back room where shelves were lined with odd contraptions. He handed out infrared goggles, explaining their function. "These will let us see the heat signatures of objects and living beings. It's not perfect, but it's a start." As they donned the devices, the room came alive in shades of red and orange. Ethan grinned. "The Umbral think darkness is our weakness. They don't understand that humans adapt. We've lived through ice ages, plagues, and wars. This is just another challenge." The resistance grew rapidly. Across the globe, humanity began to fight back. Engineers repurposed technology to function in the absence of light. Factories churned out infrared scopes, sonar devices, and bioluminescent materials. Farmers developed underground systems to grow crops with heat lamps. The Umbral observed these developments with growing unease. "Admiral," the officer from before spoke again, his tone more cautious. "The humans are not collapsing as expected. They've adapted their industries to function without light." Cale's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Light is their essence. Their biology." "They are proving resilient," the officer interrupted. "Our reports indicate they are utilizing other parts of the spectrum we cannot suppress." Cale growled, a sound that reverberated through the ship. "Increase the field intensity. Starve them of every resource. Let's see how long they can last." Months passed. The world had changed, but humanity endured. Cities became hubs of innovation. Solar power was replaced by geothermal energy. Streets glowed faintly with bioluminescent algae cultivated in labs. The darkness was no longer terrifying, it was simply a new environment to conquer. On a battlefield in what was once New York City, General Torres led a strike team equipped with experimental cloaking suits and heat vision weapons. They had tracked an Umbral landing party to the ruins of Times Square. Torres spoke into her comms. "Move in quietly. These bastards think they own the dark. Let's show them who the real predators are." The team advanced, their suits blending seamlessly with the infrared spectrum. The Umbral soldiers, unused to being hunted, faltered as one after another fell to precise human strikes. One soldier managed to activate his communicator. "Admiral. The humans, they're using the dark against us." Cale received the report with disbelief. His race had dominated countless species by exploiting their reliance on light. Yet here was humanity, turning the very absence of light into a weapon. "We need to retreat," his officer advised. Cale clenched his fists. "No. We cannot retreat from creatures of the light." The final confrontation came 6 months after the blackout began. Humanity, having reverse-engineered an Umbral vessel, launched an assault on the alien mothership. Torres was at the helm, leading the charge. "Admiral Cale," Torres said over an open channel. "You thought darkness would break us. Instead, it forged us into something stronger. We're coming for you." The battle was fierce, but humanity's innovation proved superior. The Umbral, for all their arrogance, were ill-prepared for an enemy that thrived on adaptation. Cale's ship was breached, and Torres herself confronted the alien leader in the dimly lit command center. "Your kind underestimated us," Torres said, her weapon trained on Cale. "That was your first mistake. The second was thinking you could take our home." Cale, defeated, lowered his head. "Perhaps we have misjudged you, humans. You are not creatures of light. You are something far more dangerous." Torres smirked. "Damn right we are." The Umbral retreated, their dominance shattered. Humanity, once again, had proven its resilience in the face of insurmountable odds. The darkness had been meant to destroy them. Instead, it became the crucible in which they found their greatest strength.